So even though there has been movement in the world for betterment and equality for LGBT individuals, there is still a lot to do, and there are still a lot of issues that LGBT individuals face in the world. In this episode of Stacy Links Presents, I wanted to talk about social issues in the world for LGBT identifying individuals. I'll be right back. Welcome to my channel. I'm Stacy. In this episode of Stacy Links Presents, I'm going to talk about social issues in the world for LGBT individuals in different countries. I'm going to talk about issues that people face in society in different parts of the world. The different issues that people face around the world are very polarizing depending on where you are and who you talk to. I'm going to talk about certain countries where there are differences in the way LGBT individuals are treated. I will also talk about other issues in other parts of the world. I will also talk about legality issues with certain countries in the world regarding LGBT individuals. So before I get started, I would like you to go down below if you're new to this channel, you're a transgender person interested in fashion, jewelry, and makeup, and would like to follow along with my transition. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I have many videos on my fashion tips and jewelry and makeup, and videos talking about my transition. Also be sure you're following me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and on TikTok. I'm also on Patreon with exclusive content for my all-access subscribers. Go down below in this video in the description and check for all my social media links. So in general, people around the world suffer from stigma related to being LGBT. A lot of people still believe that being queer is bad or a sin. A lot of these people genuinely believe that queer people are actually bad people. As a matter of fact, that is beyond the truth. I have found that queer people are actually some of the friendliest, most wonderful people you will ever meet. Another stigma that people in the LGBT community face is that being queer is the same as being weird. Now, that also could be further from the truth, because I have found the majority of people I have met in the LGBT community are actually fairly normal seeming. You wouldn't even realize that they're queer. And because of certain right-wing conservative movements that have been making some great headway in recent years, European countries, including Great Britain, are on their way to try to remove safeguards and access to safe medications and healthcare for LGBT and transgendered folks especially. Here in Canada, there is a social shift in the leftward direction to try to open up access for transgendered people, allow for better equalities and less persecution. And we now have gender identity in our Charter of Rights. However, even with all that coming to pass here, there is still a lot of work we need to do to eliminate the bias and stigma that LGBT people in general still have around here. In contrast, however, there seems to be a major right-wing shift in the U.S., in many of the southern states especially, trying to remove access to safe medications and health care for transgender people. And it's largely Republican governments in southern U.S. states that are lobbying to try to basically erase us and force us back into hiding. We do have a friend in the federal government in the fact that they are trying to push for full equality for all LGBT people, including transgendered folks. They are having troubles getting this law to pass because of the Republican Senate, but hopefully they can get something through, and then they can start to move more towards equality. There are certain states in the U.S. where there are laws where a company cannot be sued for firing somebody who comes out as LGBT. There are states as well that have what are referred to as panic laws, where a person could get away with killing somebody identifying as LGBT if they feel threatened by that person. Again, all of this is because of the stigma that is still upon us that we are trying to eliminate. LGBT people are not dangerous. We are not deviants. We are not predators. And most certainly, we are not pedophiles. That being said, I would like to mention that there are still a number of countries. You will be surprised at the number. I will show you this here in a little bit. How many countries still criminalize LGBT behavior? These countries criminalize being gay or trans, like how they used to criminalize being left-handed back in the Dark Ages. Force people into therapy. If they couldn't convert, they would be put to death. And I will show you some of these countries here right away. So I picked this website here. This is a web page from humandignitytrust.org, and this is a very good humanitarian website. I would highly recommend it, but I'm going to show you this article here right now as to how many countries in the world criminalize being LGBT. Now you see from this map of the globe, all of the red countries criminalize being LGBT. It's astonishing to see that. That's a lot of countries. Down here is the list of those countries. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm going to slowly scroll through this, and I will let you read through them all yourself. And you will see how many of these countries criminalize something that we are born with. As common to humanity as being left-handed. Now we'll look at some key facts here. 71. That's the number of countries or judiciaries that criminalize same-sex behavior. "43 countries criminalize same-sex behavior between two women. 11 of those countries makes those offenses punishable by death. And 15 of those countries makes being transgender or a cross-dresser illegal and possibly punishable by death. So if you want to go back and take a look at that list again, go back in this video and watch it through again, and pause if you need to. But this is definitely something that needs to be talked about more on social media, and I really think that this is an important issue to really understand. That there's a lot more work to do. Alright, so thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button down below and drop a comment. Tell me about your experiences as a trans person. Where are you from? What kind of laws there are in your country? And what your experiences are, and how you deal with being LGBT. I'll see you next time. Bye!